media source. If you know your party's call is being transferred.
Hello, this is Fred.
Hi, Fred. It's Glendora.
Hi, Glendora. Hold on one second. Let me finish up this other call.
Yeah, take your time.
Take your time, Miss Lucy. Take your time, Miss Lucy Brown.
How are you?
Oh, everything's perfect. I'm so sorry I forgot it, and then I found out that you had canceled.
Well, I couldn't do it. I had to go to the doctor this morning.
Yeah, how do you feel?
I'm pretty good. Not bad. But yeah, I just had to get an adjustment on some medication, but I'm okay. So it worked out. So
Yeah, it did.
Here we are.
And here we are. Okay, shall we start?
Yeah, now, what, are you going to record this? Is that?
Yeah, I'll record it on audio tape.
Okay, I'm ready anytime you are.
And then I'll videotape the audio tape.
Okay.
All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well, everybody, I'd like to have you meet Fred Fishman, who is the director of Houston Media Source. Fred, tell us about Houston Media Source.
Thank you, Glendora. Houston Media Source is a public access channel in Houston, Texas. And Houston is the fourth largest city in the United States and the number 10 media market. So we have quite a large audience potential that we estimate Glendora is somewhere close to 1 million people.
Wow.
Most of those are on Comcast. About 750,000 people can get us on Comcast. Another 50,000 on smaller cable companies, and then 200,000 on AT&T's new internet television delivery service called UVerse. We estimate, based on our marketing studies that we've done in the past and anecdotal information, that we hit about 500,000 people per month tune in and watch us at least once. We have a mixture of inspirational programming, educational programming, entertainment programming, and we do have about 300 or so producers who give us.
How many, Fred?
300.
My goodness, that is a healthy number.
Yeah, that drop off tapes and DVDs and give us programming. I'd say maybe a couple dozen series of people who produce regular programming, and about 30 what we call institutional producers. The city of Houston, they have their own municipal channel, by the way. City of Houston gives us programming too, as well as the constable here, which is like a sheriff. And he has a weekly 1-hour live program. So we have quite a mix of programming, and I would say our entire program schedule, per week, we have about a saturation of about 75% of all broadcast hours have programs. And when we don't feed programs, we feed a community bulletin board, which unbelievably has a large audience too, because people want to know what's going on in and around the city. So we take a lot of PSAs faxed into us that we turn it into the community bulletin.
Oh, yes,
Community Source has been here for about 26 years.
Really? You had your 25th?
Yes, so we hope we'll be here for another 26. I mean, that remains to be seen with what's going on these days, but we hope to keep it going. And I've been here as executive director now almost 2.5 years.
And what do you enjoy about it?
I think two things, Glendora. I think, first of all, the variety of the programming, because it is different than what you see on commercial television or public broadcasting or even cable television networks. It's homegrown, local television production that really is flavored just for the city of Houston. And that to me is very satisfying. And then the variety of the job and the fact that we do the training that we do to teach people video skills and how to shoot video, how to edit video.
What fun.
I'm sorry?
I said, what fun.
How to work out in the field, remote broadcasts, as well as how to shoot programs here in the studio. So I think it's the variety more than everything else. And you never know from day to day, like in all television, when you walk in, what's going to happen. It's I've often said, working in television is a lot better than working in the railroad or selling insurance. And I had a career, and I've certainly enjoyed myself doing it.
Tell us about your studio and your equipment.
All right, we have one major studio, and we're doing a conversion from analog to digital.
Oh, you are?
Yes, slowly but surely. We just put in a brand new transmission rack. We went from analog to digital.
My goodness.
About 30 terabyte video storage capability. We also stream on the internet too.
Tell me first of all, tell me about that rack.
Okay, it's a rack that was put up by Synergy, or the old Tilt Rack company, and it loads in either mini DV or DVDs, and we're going to an open source system in conjunction with the stations in Dallas and Austin. We formed a little mini network, and we're all going to go to open source where everybody's going to drop off everything, not in tape or mini DV or DVD, but they're going to be able to email or FTP.
No, really?
To us. Right. So everything it'll be a tapeless system. It'll go directly from the producers into our video storage, and from there will be programmed by our program director to come up on our playlist.
Tell me how. Example. Give me an example. A producer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's say a producer has finished his half-an-hour program that he's promised us, and he turns in the contract, and we look at it to make sure it's okay, and at the same time, he'll be sitting at home. Let's say he edits it at home rather than going to one of our editing facilities here. But whether it's here at home, he's finished with the program, he's sweetened it, it's got, all of the credits at the end, and the billboard up at the front, and he's tweaked the audio, and he's done everything. It's ready to go, ready to air.
He's done this on a computer?
Right. He'll package it up and either email it to us, or he can do what's called an FTP, which is like a digital transmission of the program, and it'll go directly into the server.
My goodness.
Directly into the video server. And then our program director, who spends the whole day programming all these shows, will then see it as a new incoming program. Will then slot it into whatever that producer would like the time slot to be for it, and that's it. So nobody has to come in and drop off a mini DV.
And this is happening, Fred?
Oh yeah, it's happening now. It's
They told me
around the country. I know that Austin, for example, the city of Austin, which is the capital of Texas, is completing an $850,000 upgrade of their system to allow people to do this, and they're loading in all the software and all of the hardware, and they've been quite aggressive at doing something like this here in Texas. And so Austin's going to be the first open source system in the state of Texas, and then we're working closely with the people in Austin and also Dallas to follow suit with the same type of open source, direct digital delivery of programming system. And they tell us that by August 1st, they'll be ready to go, start dropping off.
To Dallas?
Yeah, Austin's going to be first, and then what we're doing, actually, Glendora, is we're watching them to see if they can work out the bugs and smoke everything out first before we take the step. We're letting them be the guinea pigs, and they know it, and they're okay with it.
Fred, why is it called open source?
Well, it means you can, wherever you are, you don't have to come in and drop it off. You don't have to come to the facility to drop off media, like a tape or a DVD. You can, from wherever you are, send in your product over the internet.
Over the internet.
Oh.
And Fred, will it work with a laptop computer?
Yes, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. I mean, because it'll go directly from your computer into their video server. And from there, their program director will slot the program and play it.
And are you talking that it goes out to the cable system, or does it go up to the YouTube and the internet?
No, it'll go directly to the cable system.
It goes directly to the cable system.
Right. We require, and I'm sure Austin does the same thing, but we require all when they sign up to become a producer here at Houston's media source, to deliver at least one half-an-hour program every 6 months, so they can become yeah, I know, so they can become active. Now, you get somebody who's just starting out.
I didn't tell them, but we do over 20 a month.
I don't think it should take them 6 months. It should take them like 6 days, but that's my own personal opinion. But sometimes, the learning curve is you sign up and you take about a month's worth of classes to learn how to shoot, how to edit, and become qualified to be able to take out the equipment to do all of this. But once you go through all the classroom activity, then there's practical capabilities that you've got to build up. It takes time to learn how to shoot and to edit and put a program together. So, we tell people, every 6 months you've got to drop off a program. So,
Yeah.
it takes that long for people to get up to speed.
I think that's a rather modest request.
I think so, but you'd be surprised.
Yes.
Some people we got to push and say, hey, you're coming to the end of 6 months. And, you should really do this.
And what channels do they have?
We're on one channel. Public access is on channel 17 on the Comcast cable system.
And what hours do they cable cast you?
We're 24/7.
No, are you?
24/7, 7 days a week.
Do you repeat programs?
Yes, we do. Throughout the month, we don't repeat blocks of programming throughout it. Mix everything up from week to week. So if you have one program, you may get within about 2 or 3 months average about 6 plays for every couple months.
Oh, wow. And then there's no time slot. A program producer doesn't have a...
There are some, and those are mainly the prime slots between 6 and 10 o'clock. There are about 15 or so producers who have a regular monthly show.
Oh, okay. I see. Monthly, no weekly?
Usually, Glendora, those are the institutional type organizations who have the manpower to mount something like that.
Oh, I see.
For instance, the Harris County Criminal Lawyers Association has a weekly talk show where they talk about current legal events occurring in the city of Houston. And in a major city like this, there's always something going on. So every week, they have a talk show, and they bring in an expert. They take calls to talk about the subject matter. The constable here has a 1-hour program that got to be so popular, he had to bump it up to an hour, where he's got his staff of about, I guess, about 10 people working on the show. They all took classes. They all became certified to use the studio equipment, and they're quite proficient now in the use of the studio equipment. And they do B-rolls, rolling in packages, news packages from out in the field that they shot during the week.
Right. How long ago they start?
They started just about when I got here, about 2.5 years ago, and they ramped up pretty quickly.
They have grown, right?
Yes, they have. They as well as their audience.
Grown spelled G-R-O-E-N?
Well, in the beginning, that's what it was, because, they were learning the techniques of television. It's people will sit at home and they'll watch television. Well, hell, I can do that. Yeah, well, go out and sculpt the Mona Lisa, or paint the Mona Lisa, and sculpt David. And it's just, you got to learn some skills first.
What do you think is the, well, you've just given us a future, the open source, but what
That's
else?
Part of it.
Yeah, what else do you think is the future of public access?
Well, I think public access can't be just about delivering programs on your local channel. I think the public access stations have to really follow the model like what was done in Grand Rapids, which is considered the golden standard of
Tell me about it, Fred. Tell us about it.
Well, it's just they figured out a few years ago. They saw the writing on the wall that the governments are going to start cutting back on the amount of money that they give to local public access, and they have to get other streams of revenue. It's not only just that, but they also concurrently have to provide more services. So they went out and they bought a theater in Grand Rapids, and they're renting that out for various plays and concerts and events, and they're getting a revenue stream off of that. They started off with an internet, they're an ISP, an internet service provider, so they're offering internet services as well, and they're doing some production for hire. So they're not just delivering producers' programs, they're doing all sorts of media. And that's what we're getting into as well. We started our own in-house production unit to do some high-quality productions, which we have done. And very shortly, we're going to start an internet community radio station. I don't know whether we're going to be able to get a frequency or not one of these days, but that could be your future, because the frequencies are so crowded here in Houston, being a major media market. But we're going to start a community radio station and start offering production for hire, too, for 501c3s who would like to do
that. I understand. The other I don't understand, Fred. Could you give me an example of what you were talking about in Grand Rapids they were doing with the theater?
Well, what they did is they were looking for other revenue streams other than just the city.
Yes, I understood that.
Rapids. So what they did is they went out and they bought a theater that was for sale.
Yes.
And they did some renovations on it, and now they are renting it out.
Renting the theater out to whom, for instance?
Well, to charities and nonprofit organizations to stage concerts, plays, for special events.
And people come in and pay to go in to see it?
Correct, exactly.
And that's how they raise revenue?
Correct.
And so you're thinking of doing something like that?
Well, we're in a different situation. Grand Rapids is a much smaller market, and I don't think we can compete with some of the major world-class venues here in the city. I don't think that would be a wise move on our part. So we're thinking about doing other things, like doing some production for hire to 501c3s.
That I understand, yeah.
There are thousands of...
501c3 meaning nonprofit.
Right. There are thousands in the city of Houston. So some of them are just beginning to learn through our efforts, the advantages of doing some video production to help tell their story. So we want to do more of that, and we want to start a community redo.
Now, how would they, and then when they make the video production to tell their story, where do they show it?
Well, first of all, they'll get a run here on our channel, on HMS TV.
Uh-huh.
And then we tell them what they can do is then, once they do at least one run here on us, on our station, then they own the copyright to their production. So they can take it and they can dub it and make copies, excuse me, and distribute.
Oh, yeah, and then how's that how they
Right,
do
and
it?
they can distribute it to their constituents. They can use it as a fundraising tool. Once I say that, you can use it as a fundraising tool, then they get the connection. And then they understand the potential of doing video.
And that is what?
Well,
The potential of doing.
Well, the potential is they can tell their story of who they are and what they do.
Yeah, much better than they can just standing up and
I mean, anybody, you can put a marketing package, and a sales kit together. That's easy. But just think about if you could then also have a half an hour or 15-minute video that describes your organization and shows people the video technique of what this charity or 501c3 nonprofit is doing to help the community, then it becomes much clearer as to a potential funding source.
Yes.
To who you are and what
I get
you do and
yeah.
what you can't do. A picture of, like they say, it tells 1,000 words, and a video will tell 1,000,000 because it shows people what it is.
Yes.
Because people are used to video now. Glendora, it's almost expected that you better have some kind of video to go along with your sales presentation.
Sure.
Something's got to move in front of people who are trained to look at a monitor.
What would a thing like that cost them, just as a throw-out figure? Would it be in the thousands, or would it be in the...
No. It really depends upon what they want to do. We've got some people that we do videos on some of their conferences. For instance, there was a big conference here that was done at the University of Houston discussing sustainability. In other words, building a green culture where things are recycled and where building materials are used that are non-conventional, and doing arts, and it was about a 3-day conference, and they came to us and they said, well, we'd like to put this on your channel to show people, and we'd like to essentially hire you to videotape this thing and put it on the channel. And they're an educational institution, so they're a 501c3 naturally, which the only people that we can really offer our services for to 501c3s. And we said, okay. And we went out and we videotaped for 3 days. And we had 2 or 3 people doing it. And we charged them $2,000, but we got 14 hours of programming.
My goodness.
And that 14 hours of programming was art discussions.
That's not much money.
Some art performance that was done, some theater performance and dance. So we got a variety of programming that they paid us, and we got, we filled 14 hours of time slots. So, that's pretty good bang for your buck right there.
Did you get feedback on it? Did you hear people talking about it?
It's just started rolling out.
Uh-huh.
But, they're ecstatic at the University of Houston. See, what they can do, Glendora, is we can tell them, okay, this program is going to air on such and such a date at such and such a time. And they get a lot of airtime very cheaply. They can tell their constituents, well, if you didn't make it to this year's conference, you can see what happened here by turning to Houston Media Source and watching the video.
Uh-huh.
So for people who didn't go, it's a lot easier to watch to see, what happened.
Well, Fred, thank you. We are up to 25 minutes. I want to know if we can have Chapter 2 some other time.
Absolutely, because Glendora, I could go on for hours.
Yes, you're wonderful. You're very articulate. And then
Put a battery in me and I'll just keep on going.
like the commercial, right?
Well, I just had my cup of coffee here, so I'm full of caffeine and I'm ready to roll. Thank you very much. I'll be available anytime you want to talk.
Oh, good. Now, when you come back, I would like to have you tell the folks the past of public access, what it has accomplished, how it started in the past, and what it's accomplished.
Excellent.
Yeah, that'll be good.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you so much. Let's see. You got any good jokes for me?
Not that we can lay down on tape.
Yeah.
Would be attributed to me.
And you'll tell us about your career before you got into public access.
Yeah, we can go all over that too.
Yeah. All right. Well, I have a good joke for you. The man adopted a darling Cocker Spaniel puppy.
Yeah.
He's holding it in his arms, and he's walking to the car to go home with it, and he meets his friend, and he says to his friend, "What do you think of this Cocker Spaniel puppy I got from my wife?" And his friend said, "That's not a bad trade."
Oh, God. Okay, I get it.
Take care, Fred,
Bye.
and we're deeply grateful to you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye.
So, folks, I have a couple of minutes here to fill. I'll tell you about the man who came home from work, and he was very discouraged, and his wife says, "What's the matter, dear?" And he says, "Well, they gave us aptitude tests at work today, and I flunked." And his wife says, "That's dreadful." And he said, "Yes, it's a good thing I own the company." Marilyn says, "I expect my husband to be 20 years from now exactly what he is today." And her friend says, "That's impossible." And Carolyn says, "Yes, that's what he is today." What's the plural of goose? Right, geese. What's the plural of mouse? Right, mice. What's the plural of baby? Twins. There's so many labor-saving devices on the market today, you have to work all your life to pay for them. And The reporter asked the co-ed, why did you choose this college? And she said, because it has the best rating. Best rating? In what way? 10 men to 2 girls. Said the church member, you see that, they had a rummage sale. She said, you see that closet over there? Yes, the minister said. Well, I sold everything in that closet. And the minister said, that is the cloakroom. Eleanor says, I have the most delicious recipe for a casserole. I simply mention it, and my husband says, let's eat out. The little Hollywood extra, he finally got a speaking part in a movie. The scene was the detective would say to him, did you see that woman drink this cup of coffee? And he was to say, I did. So he went home and he practiced all the ways he could say, I did, I did, I did, I did. Came time to shoot the scene. The detective says, did you see the woman drink the cup of coffee? And the little extra said, did I? All right, this is Glendora, a cheerful look at life. Keep the courage flaming. Help everybody you can. Love perfectly all the time.